A hidden opening in the Great Sphinx? What's inside? The past is full of secrets, and we're here to uncover them. Join us on this epic historical journey, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the discovery. All over the world, there are countless doors that haven't been opened for decades, even centuries. The question is, why? These days, it seems like you can open any door you want, but the truth is some of those doors were sealed for a very good reason, and even now, no one really knows what treasures or mysteries might be hidden behind them. Here are 4 places that are still keeping their secrets tightly locked away. First up, the Taj Mahal in India, one of the most romantic places in the world. It was built in 1631 by Shah Jahan as a gift to his third wife, whom he deeply loved.
They were married for 19 years and had 14 children. Sadly, she died while giving birth to their last child. Heartbroken, I decided to build a legendary tomb in her memory.
It took 20 full years to complete. The building has a really unique design, especially the 4 huge minarets, each about 130 feet tall, standing at the corners of a massive platform. And they're not just for looks. Back in the 1600s, architects had major problems with buildings collapsing under their own weight. So the chief architect designed the minarets to lean slightly outward. That way, if one ever fell, it wouldn't crash onto the tomb itself. Talk about smart planning. But the Taj Mahal also hides some crazy secrets. There are locked rooms all over the place that no one's allowed to enter. If you look at photos from the riverbank, you can spot 2 basements. Guess what? They're sealed shut too. No one knows what's in them or why they were locked since Shah Jahan's time. Some researchers believe the rooms were made with marble, which can turn into calcium carbonate when exposed to carbon dioxide. When that happens, the marble starts crumbling like crazy. And to make things worse, there's no air circulation in those rooms. So if too much CO2 builds up down there, the 4 rooms could completely collapse. But wait, there's more. Some believe that Shah Jahan's wife's body might still be preserved perfectly in one of those locked rooms. Who knows what those mysterious chambers might be hiding? The Great Sphinx of Giza is wrapped in mystery. Not only is it the largest single stone statue in the world, but it's also a mythical creature, part woman, part lion, from ancient Egyptian and Greek legends. It's super old, estimated to be about 4,500 years old. Building this wonder took around 3 years and about 100 workers. And no, they weren't slaves. They were treated well and fed tasty food like lamb and goat.
Experts also think the Sphinx used to be much bigger than it is now. Huge stone blocks and abandoned tool sets were found nearby. But the real secrets lie underground, right beneath its paws. A group of scientists used seismic scanning equipment and discovered 2 hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx. Some believe these could be the legendary Hall of Records, a place said to hold ancient scrolls that reveal the secrets of the universe. I mean, that sounds cooler than any library I've ever been to. There are even rumors that the Egyptians hid information about Atlantis down there, kind of like an ancient version of a conspiracy theory. Unfortunately, we can't go exploring just yet. There are supposedly 2 entrances, but both are sealed. Researchers haven't been given the go-ahead to investigate further. Let's hope they don't keep us waiting forever.
This temple is in the stunning state of Kerala, India, but it's known for more than just its beautiful design. Underneath the temple are 6 vaults, creatively named A, B, C, D, E, and F. Massive iron doors guard these chambers, adding to the mystery of what's inside. A few years ago, the authorities decided to open the vaults to the world, but it wasn't easy. You can't just swing the doors open. It took a ton of effort and time. Finally, in 2011, 5 out of the 6 vaults were opened. And guess what they found? Tons of treasure. Bags of gold, priceless gemstones, and diamond-studded jewelry. The total value of what they found? Around $1 trillion. That's right, $1 trillion. But wait, I said 5 out of 6 were opened. So, what happened with the last one? Vault B has remained sealed. Not for lack of trying, though. They just haven't been able to open it. There's even a belief that the vault is deadly cursed. According to legend, only a saint or sage can break the curse by chanting a special spell. But so far, no one's pulled that off. Maybe because we don't exactly have any saints or sages lying around. There's also a rumor that back in the 1930s, some temple raiders tried to break into Vault B to do a little good old-fashioned looting, but they never made it. Apparently, giant snakes came out of nowhere and chased them off. Of course, that sounds like a classic urban legend. There's no real evidence for it. That said, the temple's official overseer has claimed that Vault B was opened at least 7 times since 1990, and nothing bad happened to anyone who went in. So who knows? Maybe we should just send in Indiana Jones and see what he finds. The tomb of the first emperor. Buried deep inside a quiet hill and surrounded by deadly traps is a 2,000-year-old tomb. It belongs to Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. He was born in the state of Qin and became king as a child. As he grew up and gained full power, he conquered the warring states that divided ancient China and united them into one empire, founding the Qin dynasty. When he died in 210 BC, he was buried in an enormous underground tomb. And when I say enormous, I mean massive. In 1974, some farmers digging a well in Xi'an stumbled upon something strange, a giant clay soldier. That discovery kicked off massive excavations that have gone on for over 40 years, revealing an army of thousands of terracotta warriors. What makes these soldiers so special is that each one is unique, different hairstyles, facial expressions, and more. Experts think there might be as many as 8,000 of them, but only about 2,000 have been found so far. What's really interesting is that the central burial chamber, believed to be the emperor's actual resting place, is still untouched. Ancient records describe a massive underground city built by the emperor, complete with scenic towers, palaces, and other structures. A historian from the Han dynasty named Sima Qian wrote that the tomb was filled with treasures and could hold hundreds of officials. But the big problem is technology. We still don't have the right tools to explore it safely. Qin Shi Huang's tomb was supposedly surrounded by liquid mercury, with 2 flowing streams representing the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. The ancient Chinese believed mercury could grant immortality, but it may have actually killed the emperor, since he regularly took mercury pills to try to live longer. The dangerously high levels of mercury in the soil around the tomb are a major reason scientists haven't gone in yet. It's just too risky, for both people and the environment. Honestly, if I had to pick a door to open, I'd probably not choose the one that leads into a mercury-filled tomb. Call me crazy, but I like avoiding toxic death traps. One of the world's most mysterious and unexplored places has been hiding in plain sight: the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. It's one of the greatest monuments ever built by humankind, and it still holds secrets that archaeologists and scientists haven't been able to crack.
This giant statue of a lion with a human head was carved out of solid rock about 4,500 years ago, but scientists still don't know exactly when it was made, who built it, or why. There are tons of theories, but nothing's been confirmed.
Most people have seen the Sphinx in photos or in real life, but hardly anyone knows what lies beneath it. The statue was carved from a single piece of limestone, and it was originally painted. You can still find bits of faded paint on its surface, proving that it once looked way more colorful and vibrant than it does today. But even after thousands of years, its majesty hasn't faded.
Oh, and by the way, Sphinx isn't even its original name. The Greeks gave it that name over 100 years after it was built. The Egyptians originally called it Hor-Emaket, meaning Horus of the Horizon.
There are many legends and theories that the Sphinx was built for a reason. Maybe as a guardian of the pharaoh's tomb, or a protector of Egypt's ancient secrets. And these stories gained traction when archaeologists discovered hidden entrances beneath the Sphinx's paws. They believe these may be secret tunnels leading to chambers filled with treasures.
There are tons of stories online claiming that the Sphinx hides a hall of records beneath it, a legendary library said to contain the lost knowledge of ancient civilizations, a warehouse full of ancient and secret knowledge. That's what it's rumored to be. And one of the key artifacts supposedly hidden there, records from the legendary lost city of Atlantis. According to myth, the entire library from Atlantis was moved and hidden beneath the Sphinx. The entrance? It's believed to be right next to the Sphinx's right paw.
Many archaeologists have tried to find this hidden doorway, but they've all come up empty-handed. There are even detailed diagrams and old images showing what some claim is an underground city made up of tunnels and chambers beneath the Sphinx. One person even claimed there are structures as tall as 12 stories buried below. But again, there's no solid evidence to back that up.
Even after all these centuries, archaeologists are still exploring this mysterious statue. Meanwhile, many locals in Egypt don't want to know more about the Sphinx. They're terrified that digging around it might awaken something supernatural.
In 1998, scientists discovered tunnels leading to empty caves beneath the Sphinx. They even found signs that someone had already dug there in the past, which suggests that someone may have already found and stolen the treasures. Some believe that the Egyptians uncovered an ancient artifact under the Sphinx that holds powerful, unknown technology. It's supposedly so powerful it could change the course of history. Of course, most of these theories are probably just conspiracy-fueled myths, but one thing's for sure, there's definitely a system of caves and rooms hidden beneath the Sphinx. There are so many rumors surrounding the Sphinx that it's nearly impossible to tell what's real and what's fiction. In any case, studying the statue is risky. Active excavation could damage it permanently, or even collapse the entrances to the underground chambers, burying them forever. Plus, more digging would cost a ton of money, and funding for projects like this isn't always easy to find. But the main issue is that it's dangerous. There's no guarantee that anyone who goes down into those underground mazes would ever make it back out. That's why archaeologists have been investigating this majestic structure for such a long time, carefully, bit by bit. Secret spaces in famous landmarks. Another famous monument with a hidden story is Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Everyone's seen the giant presidential faces carved into the mountain, but few people know there's a secret room hidden behind Abraham Lincoln's head. The man who designed Mount Rushmore originally wanted to carve historical tablets into the rock, chronicling major events in U.S. history, but the idea was just too complicated and expensive. So instead, he went with a scaled-down version of the plan, a hidden room inside the mountain. The idea was to preserve knowledge so that future generations would always remember the nation's past. Unfortunately, the architect died before finishing the project, and construction stopped for decades. Then, in the late 1990s, the project was revived. Today, inside that hidden chamber are porcelain enamel panels that tell the story of the United States. These panels are likely to remain there forever, but they're not open to the public. The room is too hard to access.
Hidden platforms in the Empire State Building. There's another secret space, this time in the Empire State Building. And it's not just a hidden room. It's one of the coolest places to take a photo in New York. Most tourists go to the 86th floor observation deck, which offers incredible views of Manhattan. But what many don't know is that there's another deck on the 102nd floor with panoramic windows. Hardly anyone goes up there because they simply don't know it exists. Luckily, it's open to the public, and you probably won't have to wait in a long line. It feels special, like you're in on a secret because it's so quiet and unknown. But the most exclusive spot is the 103rd floor. That's the deck where celebrities go to snap photos. It's not open to the general public, but if you know the right people, you can get access. There's barely any security, just a low railing separating you from the edge, which is why they don't let crowds up there. It's not easy to reach either, and you probably won't make it without a guide. First, you have to take the right elevator, then pass through a bunch of engineering rooms filled with pipes, control panels, and other tech stuff. The last leg of the journey is a narrow staircase, and just like that, you're at the top of New York City.
Eiffel Tower's secret apartment. Now let's head to Paris. See the Eiffel Tower? Everyone knows about the restaurants and viewing platforms inside. But did you know there's a secret apartment? It's true. It's now a museum, but it was originally built as a private living space. Gustave Eiffel, the man who designed the tower, built it for himself in 1889. It's located near the very top of the Eiffel Tower. Just imagine the view he had every single day. Eiffel was the first and only resident. No one else was ever allowed in. For a long time, the apartment stood empty. It was only recently renovated and turned into a museum. Inside, the past century comes back to life. They've even added wax figures of Gustave Eiffel, his daughter, and Thomas Edison in the room.
Meanwhile, down below, there's a constant flow of commuters, late office workers, and tourists from out of town, all mixed with the sounds of loud chatter, train whistles, and general city chaos. But inside Grand Central Station in New York, if you stand in the right spot, you might hear something strange. The sound of a tennis ball hitting a racket. Yep, there's actually a real tennis court hidden inside the station. It belongs to a private tennis club that hosts games for employees of various companies. The club opened back in the 1960s.
Now we're heading to London. Welcome to Charing Cross Road. Finding a secret spot here isn't easy. You've got to look carefully, right under your feet. See those storm drains in the street? If you look closely, you'll spot two street signs that say Little Compton Street. That's right. There's another street directly beneath you. It vanished from London maps back in the late 1800s when Charing Cross Road was built on top of it. Those signs you see are remnants of an old underground tunnel system. There's another cool hidden spot in London, this one at the southeast corner of Trafalgar Square. At first glance, it looks like a chunky lamppost. But why are so many tourists stopping to look at it? If you get closer, you'll see that a person could actually fit inside. It's not for electricians. It's actually the world's smallest police station. Built in the 1930s, it was used as a surveillance post. Officers would sit inside one at a time, keeping an eye on Trafalgar Square, which was known for attracting pickpockets and petty criminals. Let the grand tour begin. This summer, you finally decided to take that unforgettable trip around the world. First stop, Europe. The adventure kicks off in Italy, the land of pasta, pizza, and creamy gelato. Ah, there it is, the world-famous Leaning Tower of Pisa. You grab your ticket and step into the iconic slanted monument. You're about to climb 251 slippery marble steps, so watch your footing, and don't forget to breathe. The white marble is stunning, and along the way you get amazing views of the city through the windows. Congrats, you made it to the top. Now go ahead and take all the selfies you want from the top of the bell tower.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of Italy's most famous landmarks. As you make your way up the staircase, your guide tells you it's actually a medieval monument built between the 12th and 14th centuries. It took over 200 years to complete. And in case you're wondering, yes, it's always been leaning. After the third floor was built, the tower started sinking. That's no surprise, since the word Pisa comes from a Greek word meaning marshy land. The ground is made of soft clay, mud and sand, and architects have been struggling to save it ever since construction began. At the top of the 185-foot tower, take a moment to admire the city. How many terracotta rooftops can you count? If you walk to the south side of the tower, you'll notice you feel closer to the ground. That's because the tower leans southward. At one point, it leaned 5.5 degrees but didn't collapse. These days, it's leaning less, thanks to recent restoration work. A few years ago, top engineers dug several tunnels and removed over 38 cubic meters of soil from under the north side of the tower to keep it from falling. Now it leans at just 4 degrees. So if you want one of those classic photos where it looks like you're holding up the tower, better hurry. Who knows how long it'll still be leaning.
Roman baths and hidden history. Next stop, Rome. A city that feels like an open-air museum. And you're in luck. Today's super hot, but you're headed somewhere cool, the baths of Caracalla. Ready for a true ancient Roman experience? You enter through what used to be a changing room. Now all that's left are 130-foot-high brick walls. But use your imagination. Back then, Romans from all walks of life would come here every day for an hour or two. Some visited after a long workday, others before dinner. Imperial bathhouses like this one were usually free, though you did have to pay a small entry fee. After the changing room, guests would head into a heated room where they'd get an oil massage and a scrub down. Then many would move on to one of the two massive exercise courts. Look around, see how wide they are? There used to be decorated marble walkways, and you can still spot fragments of the original mosaics here and there. Colorful tiles cover the floor. If you're into something a bit more intellectual, you can stop and listen to a philosopher or check out one of the libraries. Now we've reached the most impressive room, the Caldarium. It was a massive circular steam-heated room with a diameter of 115 feet. And it didn't just have 1 or 2 hot pools. It had 7. Above your head, you'd see a stunning dome supported by huge granite columns. The whole structure was beautifully decorated with multicolored glass mosaics and fine white marble. The complex even included an indoor pool the size of an Olympic one. The water came up to about your waist. Today, all that remains are some red brick and concrete walls, but they're still impressive. Like many Roman emperors, Emperor Caracalla built a huge bath complex, and people absolutely loved it.
After a long international flight, you finally arrive in Egypt. Time to hop on a camel and snack on some delicious dried fruit. Anyone here like dates? You leave your hotel at sunrise and head out to the outskirts of Cairo. As you drive across the Nile toward the West Bank, don't forget to snap a few photos. In the distance, you'll spot a huge monument. It's the Great Sphinx of Giza. Can you believe this thing was built over 4,500 years ago? Once you get closer, you'll notice the Great Pyramids just north of the Sphinx. You'll also learn something cool. Unlike the pyramids, the Sphinx was carved directly from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. Even today, it's still one of the largest statues in the world, standing 66 feet tall and 240 feet long from paws to tail. Its face looks a bit worn now, but according to archaeologists, it didn't always look like that. A digital reconstruction of the Sphinx gives it a totally different look. As you'll see, at some point the nose and parts of the chin were broken off. Many researchers believe the Sphinx was made to represent the great pharaoh Khafre, which is why its face looks so human. Right below the eyes, there's a carved line meant to mimic the charcoal eyeliner ancient Egyptians used, not just for looks, but also to protect their eyes from UV rays. In a desert with harsh sun, that's actually pretty smart. There's still debate among researchers about whether the Sphinx had a beard. Many believe that since it likely depicted a pharaoh, it probably had a braided ceremonial beard that was later worn away by erosion or broken off by people. Even now, you can still spot the remains of a royal headdress on top of the Sphinx's head, a symbol of power and authority. Imagine it painted in blue and gold stripes. Maybe that's what it looked like when it was first built. No one knows exactly how long it took to carve the Sphinx's face, but judging by the level of detail, it probably took a very long time. And if you're lucky, your guide might even take you to one of the secret chambers inside the statue. If they're real, of course, not just legend.
Now let's head to Greece and dive into those crystal clear waters. Whether you arrive by boat or plane, you're in for a real treat. This place is packed with history. You get to the Mandraki Marina at the harbor. But wait, there aren't any ancient ruins in sight. And you don't see the Colossus of Rhodes anywhere either. That's because it collapsed a long time ago. Before it fell during a massive earthquake, the statue was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. If you've ever seen a picture of it, you might mistake it for the Statue of Liberty. And that's no coincidence. The two are actually connected. Both were built as symbols of freedom, and the Statue of Liberty is often called the modern Colossus. The original Colossus stood 100 feet tall, but today all that remains is a concrete pier with a large gap in the middle. Now imagine a giant bronze statue straddling both sides of that harbor entrance. The Colossus was built in the 3rd century BCE, and it took the work of 900 camels to transport all the materials. It stood proudly for about 54 years until that earthquake brought it down. The only thing left was one massive foot. Even so, people kept coming to see it. Ready to head back home? Its face looks a bit worn now, but according to archaeologists, it didn't always look like that. A digital reconstruction of the Sphinx gives it a totally different look. As you'll see, at some point, the nose and parts of the chin were broken off. Many researchers believe the Sphinx was made to represent the great pharaoh Khafre, which is why its face looks so human. Right below the eyes, there's a carved line meant to mimic the charcoal eyeliner ancient Egyptians used, not just for looks, but also to protect their eyes from UV rays. In a desert with harsh sun, that's actually pretty smart. There's still debate among researchers about whether the Sphinx had a beard. Many believe that since it likely depicted a pharaoh, it probably had a braided ceremonial beard that was later worn away by erosion, or broken off by people. Even now, you can still spot the remains of a royal headdress on top of the Sphinx's head, a symbol of power and authority. Imagine it painted in blue and gold stripes. Maybe that's what it looked like when it was first built. No one knows exactly how long it took to carve the Sphinx's face, but judging by the level of detail, it probably took a very long time. And if you're lucky, your guide might even take you to one of the secret chambers inside the statue. If they're real, of course, not just legend. Now let's head to Greece and dive into those crystal clear waters. Whether you arrive by boat or plane, you're in for a real treat. This place is packed with history. You get to the Mandraki Marina at the harbor, but wait, there aren't any ancient ruins in sight. And you don't see the Colossus of Rhodes anywhere either. That's because it collapsed a long time ago.